Hello everybody, Brian Good decided to do a video today instead of a Facebook Live because there's a lot to explain on this. As always, if you have any questions, tweet me, and it's BGoodWave3, and I will do my best to answer them. Alright, so here is the setup for today. Let me stop the radar so I can draw on this here. We have high pressure still in control of our weather. It's centered right in this general area. So it's a clockwise flow. Got a southwest wind now, 77 degrees as of last check. Now it's again under ridges of high pressure. You got sinking air instead of rising air. So the clouds are how we get clouds as a result of rising air. So the air is sinking, clouds struggle to develop. But it's not always that evenly formed around a ridge of high pressure. It's not always the same way. As the ridge loses its grip, there can be some rising air, and that's why you get a partly cloudy sky like we do sometimes in these hot afternoons. And that's why we got to keep at least a small chance for a downpour, because one or two of those could grow enough to produce a shower, but they're not. What the problem is, they're rising, and normally air gets colder as you go up. But the problem is that as the cloud begins to develop, it's run into air that's actually warming up above instead of getting colder above, and the clouds don't like that, so they have a limit to their size, and that's the reason why we are looking at a very small chance for rain today. So all the actions to our north. Now, this is a front. It's kind of a two-front prong deal. It's kind of weird to look at a weather map with fronts on it, the way it's set up here. But this front to our north, it's going to have a little piece of energy as we head into Thursday. It's going to ride along that for tomorrow and track from Illinois into Ohio. Pocket of wind energy, so a decent amount of thunderstorm action here. Now, the southern edge of that's questionable. How much of that's going to build into our area tomorrow? Because the high will be still there, but it'll be a little more to the east and a little bit weaker. So it's still influencing our weather, but how much of it is it going to protect wave country is still questionable. So right now we're saying the more north you are, the higher their chance. There's the issue. It's going to take this front, and this wave of energy is going to pull it down with the thunderstorms moving through the area. So the front then, more of a boundary more than anything, is going to be snaked across our area in a very similar fashion like this, Thursday night, Friday morning at sunrise. Then it is going to sense a stronger low that's going to move in and connect to it and pull it northbound, which then becomes a warm front. So that front then goes back north as we head into Friday. Now, it's not going to go very far, only about I-70, but it is going to head northbound. As it does so, there will be potential for thunderstorms along that front. We've got to watch that, as you'll see in a few moments here, for some stronger thunderstorms. And then finally, the low that is attached to that one, as it pulls that warm front to the north, it will have a cold front with it as well. And it's that cold front. This is the one that will finally move in here for Saturday afternoon and evening and clear all this mess out of here. So a lot of moving parts as we get into between now and really Saturday. And because of that, there's challenges on coverage and timing issues and intensity. So there's a lot to monitor as we head through the next 48 to 72 hours. So be patient with us. Just stay close to the forecast. We will take you through it. Speaking of that, let me get you into some of the setup here. Severe risk today, not here. Closer to where that boundary is. It's only a marginal. Tomorrow, where the front gets dragged down, again, that wind energy pockets can go from Illinois into Ohio. So it's going to be closer to the low, where your best chance for some gusty thunderstorms, although that may not be the case for our area entirely. I'll explain. And then Friday, that's when the boundary goes back to the north again, the warm front, and again attached to the low back here to the west. But the warm front, we've got to watch for some ability for some of these thunderstorms to actually have some weak rotation with them, and that's why there's a marginal risk for severe weather in the northern counties for Friday. So let's discuss all of this, and hope this is not too boring for you all. Futurecasts, taking you this afternoon. A few pop-ups, can't rule it out. As we get into tonight, warm, no problems. Tomorrow, that little wave begins to show up there tomorrow morning, moving across Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. Again, how far south is this going to develop as it pushes that boundary into our area? A few of those could be on the strong side. I think we'll make it lower 90s before they arrive. And then that boundary will still be there, snaked across our area by sunrise on Friday. That is when it'll reverse course and head back to the north. Now, looking at the model data, here is the, I'm going to show you a lot of the model data from the NAM model, I should say. Wind energy for tomorrow, as that wave passes into Ohio, you can see why they got a marginal risk, a little stronger wind shear there. But there is a little bit of wind shear, especially in Indiana and northern Kentucky. It's given us on the sounding a marginal severe hazard because of the speed shear that is showing up really on the lower layers of the atmosphere. It's not impressive at all. I mean, yeah, it's unstable, so that combines with the speed shear, the weak speed shear that we do have, could produce a few gusty thunderstorms that may get close to that threshold of 58 miles per hour, which is the criteria for a warning. I really think a lot of them, if not all of them, will be below that. But I can't rule out one or two that can get close to that level, so I can understand why it is marginal severe just because of that. Now, for Friday, as the front reverses course, the boundary goes back north as the warm front. We have the shear showing up again, pretty much where that marginal risk has been drawn for Friday. We got to watch that because this is where it's, yes, speed shear, but we got to watch directional shear for warm fronts because it's moving, the front's moving directions here and surging northbound, and against the south flow, it can really create some wacky stuff. So the lower layers, we've got a south wind, almost southwest. A couple of the soundings I was looking at earlier was almost going southeast, which is even more alarming because the wind of the thunderstorm then is going to go from a southeast direction all the way to a west and increase in speed. When you get that kind of twisting that goes on, you can get an isolated weak tornado or funnel cloud that could develop. Now, at this point, the values are so weak, that is why it's only a marginal risk for northern counties. It's just not, there's just not a lot of wind energy to work with here. So the turning motion is there, yes, I see it. But as far as the rapidness of that turning motion and the speed of it as you go up, it's not that impressive. So it's something to monitor. I'm just kind of giving you guys just, something in the back of your mind for Friday to keep an eye on, especially for those of you close to the warm front, which would be Indiana. It wouldn't surprise me that we could see some rotating thunderstorms, but I don't know if it'd be enough to issue anything as far as like tornado warnings or anything like that. But we will watch that. So Friday, front moves to the north. Friday night into Saturday morning. This is the what we call the low-level jet. A lot of wind energy being flowed in during the nighttime hours. A lot of heavy rain will form along that warm front as we head into Friday night and Saturday morning. But then the low-level jet is going to fade out. It's going to lose its punch. So all the rain that we have during the overnight period along that boundary is also going to begin to fade out. How quickly does that happen? Because it will have a lot of cloud cover with it in this area, because it's going to be raining quite a bit, thunderstorm action, so a lot of blow-off clouds over Kentucky. But as the sun comes up, the low-level jet is going to fade, so this rain activity is going to fade. So how quickly does the clouds fade and thin out? Because at that point, we've got to watch for the chance to get more heating again if we get the sun to come back out, because the front has not passed through yet. It's going to be coming through Saturday afternoon. So we could regain some intensity as far as some energy to work with, and there's still some wind energy to work with too, closer to low pressure passing through the Ohio Valley. So yes, there is a potential that we could get outlooked for severe weather, especially for Indiana and northern Kentucky as we head into Saturday afternoon. But it all depends on how quickly the clouds Saturday morning thin out. And there's still a chance that if they don't thin out in time, the front could be here by the time the sun comes back out, which means it's mainly going to be eastern Kentucky into Ohio that gets the thunderstorms. And a lot of you get skipped out on the rain entirely Saturday. If the sun comes out early enough, then they could blossom here west of 65 and then roll east. So a lot of questions on Saturday. Be patient with us on that. The good news is, as we head into Monday, we're going to get some cool weather in here. It's not displaying for some reason, but temperatures will likely be into the 50s. Many spots, beautiful weather on Sunday, cool nights ahead for us. Next week, that's where we get problems. Here are the ensemble models here at the bottom. Here are the operational models, GFS, European, and Canadian is what we're looking at here. All right, so what you're looking at is, it's not really cold and warm temperatures. It tells me heights of pressure here, but usually it correlates with heat and cool air. What you notice this area of low pressure here hanging back across portions of the Rockies. Now, typically when we see these lows a little further to southwest, it is a classic what we call a Rex block. This is where the cutoff low to the west is found, and the jet stream then has a dip to it, but it can't go full on to our area. Now, if the Rex block wasn't there, if there was no low being cut off in the upper layers of the atmosphere, the jet has a tendency to drop a little more to the south, which means some cooler air could move into the area. So because of this Rex block showing up now, especially even on the ensembles, it does not look like this cool punch for the middle of the month is going to be as abrupt. Something to watch for. The Rex block, by the way, not to be confused with what Scott Fitzgerald at WHES Radio tweeted out to me, showing the Rex block playing volleyball. Not that kind of Rex block, but close. All right, so going ahead, that's next week. So we have a chance to warm back up again, and we will cool down, but we could get rainy too. Now, as we get toward say the 18th of the month, I still see signs on the ensembles even of a slight Rex block showing up there. Getting far out, the details get less clear. Now, the GFS tries to retrograde that low back out to the Pacific, which would then allow for a deeper trough to move in here, sitting around the 18th of September. we'll see how this plays out, because if we get stuck on the edge of this, not entirely in the warmth or the cool air, we could see quite a bit of rain activity in our area passing through. Also, it would make me eat my words. We're done with the 90s, because if this is not as deep, if this Rex block is powerful enough, then we may see some 90s come back into the area. And I eat my words about we're done with the 90s for the year. I don't like to eat my words, so hopefully this is wrong. And then as we head toward even the first few hours of the first day of autumn, the models still hint it. It's not completely showing it, but enough of a hint that's got me a little iffy on how much of a trough the East Coast will actually have. And even when you look at the operational GFS, which changes every run, but it does show it, still a hint of it there. It's just having trouble. Does it retrograde back to the Pacific, or does it stay out here in the Rockies and cause us some headaches here locally? So we're going to see some fluctuations on the rest of September when it comes to the temperature outlook, but there's a lot to monitor and expect some changes there. As always, we will be watching it and keeping you updated each and every day. Whew, it's a long blog today. Have a good day and stay cool.